Hey, welcome back. Hope you didn't go anywhere. We are making up for some lost time as under 1 minute to Derby to be played. Europe and Great Britain, this for 5th place. Following that, of course, the 3rd place game with Canada and Australia. And the 1st place game after that, USA East versus USA West. My name is Standby.
I'm Bobby Narco, and our producer is Scott Chicken. Putting his thumb in front of the camera, which is now on the track.
Oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. The last game was good. This is going to be really good. Battle for 5th place. Europe versus Great Britain. Two of the, and apologies to Australia, but also Europe and Great Britain, two of the most passionate groups of fans we've seen all weekend.
I'm going to take you through the non-skating officials for this 5th, 6th place match. Our non-skating officials are Accidental Doll, Sarah Dactyl, Hannah, Mama Panda, Emma Goldmangle, Dano, Leia Flat, and Jack and Scotch. You want to do the referees there?
Yes, referees on this game, BMD, Tricky Ricky, Wes Slamderson, Tim the Ref, Zebror, Honey Badger, and Lobo Cop.
All right, now for Team Europe, number 01 is TNT, number 04 is Violent Vilda, number 11 is Nutter, number 20 is Lily Blood, number 2012 Salty Siggy, number 2708 The Knacky Boy, number 2711 Una Galaxy, number 31 Monowitch, number 6 Chloe, number 66 Little Demon, number 665 Clara, number 7 Killer Sushi, number 70 E-Bomb, number 72 Duracell, number 808 Hasta La Vista, number 888 No Limit, number 9 Kiara, and the captain, number 42, is Fabulous.
I love that on the track we are seeing a basically a good luck lap.
Yeah.
This is good. Team Great Britain 02 Dixon, number 10 Gemma Inglis, 12 Jazz, 143 Marnie Muova, 15 Rolla Girl, 16 Rachel, 1606 Lady Macbeth, 162 May Cause Mayhem, 18 L Wolf, 19 Judge Law, 22 Wizzy, 24 Lady Macbeth, 26 T-Breaks, Captain, number 3 Hess, 342 High Velocity, 427 Boswin, 47 SMOL Small, number 8 Graphic Jam, 888 Skellobell, and 999 Till the End.
Till the end of the list, you had to read that name.
Number 999, and that's that ensures that it's always at the bottom of the list. So good thinking there. And there's been a discussion in the feed about some of these creative derby names, and that's being one of them. Team Great Britain joining us from Newborn, also the Hereford Poison Berries.
What can you tell about Team Europe? They're from all over, are they not?
That they are. What have you picked up?
Team Europe has some Blackland Teenage Terrors, some Crime City Rollers, some Dread Dragibus, some Namur Roller Girls, some Lille Roller Girls, and some Lulea Roller Girls. Together they represent 4 different European countries. We've got to give a big shout out to Referest for pointing that out on the twitch.tv chat. You are watching twitch.tv/WFTDA for the 2018 Junior Roller Derby World Cup.
One of 2 teams representing an entire continent.
Right. Australia the other.
That's right. I'm throwing in these little geography tidbits just to see if I can throw anybody off.
There you go.
But yeah, that one was easy.
Half of the countries here have the same monarch.
Ooh.
2 of the countries here have the same president. 2 of the teams here. Two of the teams here have the same president.
What have you heard? But yes, this for 5th place, and we will go straight from there. 3rd place game, and then the championship game. Officials settling in everything, entering in all the information. Just a word with the scoreboard operator, and I think skaters are definitely ready.
Yeah, they are out there on the track. Europe going to be skating in yellow. Great Britain going to be skating in white. Europe number 8 is,
And we have an official timeout.
Europe number 72 is Duracell. And Great Britain number 8.
USA East members now leaving the skating area. So, yes, officially we are underway.
Giraffic Jam jamming for Team Great Britain in the white.
And Duracell, the opposition, keeps on going. Lead Jam. There was an opening on the outside, and Duracell took it. However, both jammers free.
Duracell with that copper top helmet cover.
We got that one out of the way, too.
1 point, single point. Europe takes the lead. Lead change here in jam number 1, as is often the case.
Yeah, still, you can't call this game. You really can't call this game.
We'll do our best, though.
Yeah, we'll tell you what's happening, but as far as predictions,
that kind of call.
I am not going there.
All right, who's our jammer? 0-1 is TNT, and number 427 is Boswin.
Strictly defensive formation now. No, actually, yes, it is. Well, there's one. I was going to say number 9 running a little bit of offense there for Europe.
TNT explodes for lead. 2 lead jams in a row for Europe.
But again, both jammers free, so a few seconds left to score unopposed points and unmatched points, and appears to have
nothing. Let's do it again. A skate lace thin 1 point lead maintained for another jam.
2 points. Jam is, or two points to consider. The jam is not over officially until that 4th whistle blast. Tweet, 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 and also a jammer passing an opponent's hips is what triggers the point.
Yes. Well instructed. Stand by. Out there on the line, number 72 for Europe is Duracell, and number 1606 is Lady Macdeath. 3 lead jams in a row for Europe.
And perhaps telling that Duracell in jam number 3 already skating 2 jams.
Battery at full strength.
Yes, and use it while so, as this has been a long and definitely a test of endurance for any athlete.
Yep. 5 point pass is the highest jam of the game, and we're already on the second scoring pass.
And Duracell met and sent back.
First penalty of the game is a high block on the Europe pivot. That is number 6, Chloe.
Duracell, 10 points total. Of course, you score 1 point for each opposing blocker, and you automatically score one point on anyone off the track when the scoring pass begins. 14 points total, add to the 1 previously, 15 points for Europe. Great Britain still at 0 with 26:50 to go in the period.
Number 27 is the jammer, 2708, the Naki Boy on the line for Europe. And number 143 on the line for Great Britain, Marnie Muvova.
And proud grandma writes to a viewer with 3 grandchildren in this game. Marnie Muova.
Wow.
There we go, lead jam.
Yeah, Great Britain's first lead jam of the game.
However,
track cut called on the Great Britain pivot, number 6.
And jammer in the box, so.
Oh, and a jammer in the box, 2708.
That's right. So 30 seconds to score as much as they can unopposed. And if the lead jammer were called out, then the jam would go the full 2-minute time limit because you lose the lead jam privilege. But that did not happen here, as Marnie Muova putting points on the board for Great Britain. 5 points, in fact, makes it 9.
Every point, Marnie Muvova is going to set the high score for her team because they are the first points for her team.
And good attempt there. That is 42 fabulous. The pivots and the captain, the captain of the game, but not the pivot here. trying to prevent that scoring pass, and recycled back once again.
Naki Boy completes the initial pass, star in hand. And the jam is called. How many points did Great Britain put up on that last set of passes? None. Europe now.
Let's see, 9 plus 4, 13 points, and just like that, 2-point game.
How about that?
13 points in a single jam, and that is almost the record, as we had 14 for Europe previously.
In the game.
Yes. we have seen much higher, usually
There was
on
a 49-point jam yesterday.
Yeah, usually on power jams.
So Duracell jamming for Europe, and number 16 is Rochelle. And Rochelle picks up lead jam for Great Britain, so 2 lead jams in a row for Great Britain.
Doesn't look like it because of the recycling, as earned lead jam, however, set upon by and ghost blocker on one of the referees, just trying to keep track of the speed of these skaters.
Yeah, when you check the jammer back into the pack, sometimes they say you ate the baby, and when Australia does it, sometimes you say the dingo ate your baby.
So I have learned, and I don't know where I was all those years that I never thought of that myself.
So jamming now number 6 versus number 427. 6 is Chloe, 427 is Boswin. Thank you to our excellent producer, Scott Chicken, who is tracking the jammers and the stats for us.
And I like when I predict that I'm right, that this is going to be a good game. And so far, this is a great game.
We got a forearm penalty, though, on the Europe jammer, so a power jam for Boswin. We could have a lead change.
This is Great Britain's chance. Lead jam also, so you control the jam, and perhaps you can control the game, so it is said.
England has a blocker trapped in the back, and he doesn't realize it. He thinks he's trapped them. Excuse me, Great Britain. My apologies. Great Britain has a blocker trapped in the back.
And 2-7-0-8 there dropped the Naki Boy while running defense. And white jammer through.
Back block on the Great Britain pivot, Great Britain skater that's reporting to the box, number 26. And that is T-Breaks, the captain.
That may affect the offensive power as Chloe is through on the initial pass.
Boswin already sitting on 10 points, going back for more. No, calling off the jam. But picking up 3 points on that third pass, so 2 5s and a 3 makes 13, doubling Great Britain's score. Another lead change, 26-15. Bouncing back and forth. We've only had 6 jams, and we've had, what, 4 lead changes?
That sounds about right. Man, oh man, do not blink.
How about that?
Junior Roller Derby World Cup, the finest skaters from all over the world from their regions right here in Feasterville, Pennsylvania. Thank you for joining us. Lady McDeath, the foremost jammer. Multiplayer block called on a Great Britain blocker, and another blocker set to return to play momentarily.
Munowich picks up lead jam for Europe. First jam of the day for Munowich. First jam of the game for Munowich, I should say.
Right, and 72 Duracell sent to the penalty box as well, so currently 1-1 from my vantage point.
If you are not watching from Feasterville, Pennsylvania, then you are watching on WFTA.tv. No, you're watching on twitch.tv/WFTDA all across the globe for free.
And thank you for being with us. Once again, this event of worldwide magnitude.
Salty Siggy taking the line against Marnie Muvova for the next set of whistles. Here we go.
I tell you, if you're a fan of good defensive derby, and if you're a good fan of good defensive derby, you are seeing it here.
Illegal contact penalty on the Great Britain pivot. Lead jam goes to Marnie Muvova. Star stash for the initial pass.
Yeah, Great Britain controlling the jam a lot more than they did the first couple jams of the game. And through on the scoring pass.
No, star was passed to somebody who's not the pivot. That's number 11, Nutter, with the star. They are being told that they are out of play, and they were way out of play. Illegal procedure now called on the illegal star pass. Star pass violation on Salty Siggy. So a power jam for Marnie Muvova and Team Great Britain.
Oh, man. sort of logistical error there. You don't see that too often.
Yeah, passed the star to the wrong person.
If you're used to that person being the pivot, it's just a force of habit. And some of the veteran roller derby viewers and roller derby skaters also making note of that as soon as it happened. Wait a minute.
She wasn't the pivot, says Fresh.
And through some patience there, just hanging out for a second. Okay, I'm going to juke past you. 9 points so far.
Europe losing another skater to the penalty box. That's double aces, Nutter.
And Marnie continuing to work, just bobs and weaves, and through again, more points.
Star was passed right at the very end to Duracell. The star pass was successful. Duracell does get credit for a star pass, but does not get credit as a jammer because the helmet cover didn't go on their head. Correct me on Twitch TV if I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong ago. Oh, sorry. My apologies. It's Fish, but that's cool. I'm pretty fresh too.
Oh, thank you. Yes. The monitor a little farther away from me this time. 13 points scored by Great Britain. One of those breakout jams as we were talking about in the previous game. 39-18, and the jammer leading the cheers for Great Britain, and just that excited movement right before the jam begins during this Europe timeout.
Yeah. So, we said you're watching twitch.tv /WFTDA. Coming up, we have some more action on WFTDA TV. What can you tell me about the Continental Cups?
Oh, yeah, about the Continental Cups. The 2018 WFTDA Continental Cups will be streamed live, yes, on WFTDA.tv, starting with North America East from Kalamazoo, Michigan, August 17th through 19th. That being hosted by the Kalamazoo Derby Darlings. Then we head to Omaha, Nebraska for North America West for our 2018 WFTDA Continental Cup hosted by the Omaha Roller Girls. That will be August 24th through 26th. More on that momentarily as we're back to live action.
Got Munowich jamming for Europe and Rochelle jamming for Great Britain, and Rochelle picks up lead jam.
And lead jam it is on this full contact high point scoring game based on quad roller skates that we know as roller derby. Rochelle.
You left out hard hitting and fast paced.
That's how fast it's moving. I got to get back to it.
Star pass, new jammer number 2708, the Naki Boy.
And sometimes those star passes a little stealth, but you always have to show the star. You cannot like put it in your pocket. You have to make sure the referees know who has it, even if you try to trick the opposition.
Stand by. I don't know if you were quoting Moobot or if Moobot liked your phraseology, but that just got repeated on twitch.tv.
Oh, it's been repeated 1,000 times every time someone comes in the room and says, "What's this? This is awesome." That's what it is. Rochelle through the pack and 5 points scored.
And the Naki Boy cuts through the infield and re-engages the pack on turn number 3. Going back again to turn number 3. Naki Boy forced in, Naki Boy forced out. Britain forcing the Naki Boy all over the place.
Meanwhile, up front, 31-11 from Europe. Nutter and Monowich making a good tag team there, holding up Rochelle for a few moments to try to keep the scoring from getting too out of hand here. And now a full complement of blockers. And
Naki Boy able to get back outside before a cut is called.
Right, you saw that correction there. But a track cut called on Rochelle, and that will carry over into the next jam as time pauses in the penalty box between jams, so it will be a power start for Europe.
Low block coming in at the very end also, so a blocker advantage as well. Low block was on number 24 on the white team, Lady Macbeth. There's a Lady Macbeth and a Lady Macdeath. Jammers are number 72, Duracell, and number 16, Rochelle, starting from the penalty box.
13 points for Great Britain makes it 52-18 in the Great Britain favor. 17 minutes to go in the period.
Here we go.
Duracell.
Oh, look at that. Finds that outside line and skates on through for lead.
What we've seen from Duracell, if I were the coach of Europe, I would have put in Duracell as well. And we threw those two blockers. There were two blockers in position at the time.
Went from the outside quickly to the inside to get around.
Right. Jammer and blocker standing for Great Britain, set to be released at any time.
Nice positional blocking by Europe to get the Naki boy through for points. Specifically talking about number 9, Kiara.
And through. Whoa! Big block there, attempting to complete the initial pass. However, I do not believe past the pivot.
Yeah.
In addition to the blocker who sent Rochelle out of bounds.
New jammer for the white team.
Oh, but able to maintain, yes, stay in bounds on that initial pass.
That's number 26, T-Breaks, the captain, donning the spangled helmet cover for Great Britain.
Well played jam for Europe, 18 points, and does the 18 stand anymore? Well, we'll wait on everything to be tabulated.
That
but
doubles
I do
Europe's
believe that
score.
is 18.
Number 7 on the line is Killer Sushi. Number 1606 is Lady Macdeath.
You see how quickly a game can turn around and how quickly double-digit jams can take place. So, who you got?
Boy, it's too soon for me to say.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for the referees. We have an illegal position call on the Great Britain skater that's leaving. Great Britain picks up lead jam at the top of the pack.
That is Lady Macdeath with a D.
Killer Sushi completing the initial heading into the backstretch. Nice block by number 70 on Team Europe. E-bomb drops a bomb on the jammer, forcing the jammer to the infield and ultimately forcing the call-off.
And straight into that
call
tripod.
Off, though, yeah. No call-off because there's a jammer penalty.
Aha.
Scott Chicken, did you see the call? No, but it was a good one. It was enough to send the jammer to the penalty box.
And action in turn 3. We'll reset the jammer. Now a stare down with the lone blocker in the back. Now a more of a split pack, if you will, as all the blockers up front for Great Britain.
So this one's a track cut, and the next one's a multiplayer.
Right, the remaining blockers.
Only 2 blockers left on the track for Great Britain. Although they are able to spring Lady Macdeath. This is a 2-minute jam.
That's right. Lead jam status goes away when you go to the penalty box, and sometimes there is no lead jammer anyway. Killer Sushi through for 5 points.
Only 1 blocker on the track. Giraffic Jam reported, was sent back, reported again, was sent back again, and now is going to have to report because there's a seat open. Track cut. Who's leaving on the track cut? Oh, the jammer's leaving on the track cut.
Oh. And so, Killer Sushi continues the jam. The jam will last another 5 seconds, and then there will be a power start for Europe.
Traffic Jam picking up another penalty, or maybe just reporting to the penalty box, maybe just being instructed to report to the box.
That reporting to the penalty box business we were talking about towards the end of the jam, what happens is, it's off camera now, but the penalty box has 6 seats. Each side can hold 2 blockers and 1 jammer. If there, of course, there's 1 jammer per team, there are 4 blockers. If there is a situation where 2 of a team's blockers are in the box and a 3rd or a 4th one get called to the penalty box, they have to go see the penalty box staff, say hello, check in, go back into play, and then when a seat opens up, they have to self-report to the box.
Well, how does the penalty box let them know? They have a whiteboard. Penalty box has a whiteboard. They hold it up. The referees need to look occasionally to the penalty box to see if a skater is being summoned to the penalty box by virtue of that whiteboard. This timeout brought to you by Great Britain. European 17 points on the board, representing nearly a third of their score. 4 points added to the board for Great Britain. So Great Britain 56, Europe 53. We are a quarter of the way through this matchup, more than a quarter of the way.
And speaking of the continent of Europe, the final Continental Cup
and Great
this
Britain.
year. Yes. The Continental Cup will be in Europe, hosted by the Birmingham Blitz Dames on October 27th through 28th. Again, the final Continental Cup will be in Birmingham, and the watch passes go on sale July 31st.
Duracell now on the line, taking on Lady Macbeth. Duracell picks up lead jammer. Lady Macbeth starting from the penalty box. Direction of play is the call on the European blocker, number 42, that's reporting to the penalty box. That is Fabulous, the captain.
Jammer standing, jammer released. And one by one, weaving through the blockers for another scoring pass. 5 points.
Illegal position is the call on the Europe pivot.
When a player is sent to the penalty box, they have to serve that time themselves unless they foul out. And in that case, then one of their teammates will fill in for them. Otherwise, if it's one of the lower level games where you have mixed levels, then also you do that so you don't have a big skater coming out with a host of minis or vice versa.
Gotcha. 4-point pass for each team on that last set of whistles. Europe picks up a total of 14. Great Britain picks up 4. Another lead change.
Good question there from the Twitcherverse. Thank you for that.
17 for Europe brings them up to 74 for Great Britain, makes them 60. Jammers are number 01, TNT, and number 26, T-Breaks.
10-point game. 11:32 to go in the period. Another 30 minutes to follow.
Jockeying back and forth throughout this first half. Nice move on the inside.
Oh!
Lead jam goes to TNT.
5th place, the prize here.
Illegal position, perhaps a failure to form or destruction. Number 162 may cause mayhem for Great Britain. Now a low block sending number 9 for Europe. That's Kiara.
She was down, and the jammer came in and fell over her. That is a low block. Skater down and the jammer down in the infield, and too soon to tell if it's injury or skate trouble, given the this game of endurance and in day 2 of the World Cup. Don't want to speculate. However, equipment and bodies are being put through the test here.
Absolutely.
75-60, 5 points scored before the jam was called.
So we talked about the Continental Cups. Is there anything going to be anything else coming up on WFTA.tv?
Of course, the 2018 International WFTDA playoffs begin August 31st through September 2nd in beautiful A Coruña, Spain, hosted by As Bragantias Roller Derby.
I have the privilege of being selected to that crew. I'm looking forward to that a lot.
All right, yeah. Then we head to Atlanta, Georgia, USA for our second playoff, hosted by the Atlanta Roller Girls on September 21st through 23rd. Finally, our 2018 International WFTA Championships will be hosted by the Big Easy Roller Girls, November 9th through the 11th in New Orleans, Louisiana. Tickets on sale for playoffs now at WFTDA.com/tournaments. Again, WFTDA.com/tournaments.
A couple of our announcers here are heading down to that Atlanta playoff. Our tournament head announcer, Al B, heading down, as well as Gretchen Little. Gretchen Little going to be one of the announcers down in Atlanta, Hotlanta, over the autumnal equinox.
That soon. 15-point game, under 11 minutes to go when we pick up again. And Great Britain fans flying the flag and rocking the grandstand, as they would say, and as they do.
Yeah, they have been quite voluble all weekend long. I think the prize for loudest fans, however, got to go to Australia. They are here in force, and they're cheering, but they're cheering in a good-natured way. They are jovial.
Yeah.
They are witty. These Australian fans have really won us over.
It's just a positive atmosphere, and we're all we're all just having so much fun. It's almost a shame it has to end. Meeting all these wonderful people from throughout the world, and again, these respective teams made up of the best junior skaters in the area.
Yeah, remind you that these are junior skaters. If you're watching the action on the track, you might think you're watching the grown-ups, but no, nobody here is more than 18 years old. The Twitch TV chat has devolved into a discussion about soccer. Let's get it back on track and talk about roller derby. Number 7 on the line is Killer Sushi. Number 427 is Boswin.
Well, speaking as someone from the territory of the Armada FC, as in football club, yeah, it's you can call it football in the U.S. also as soccer. All right,
apparently there's Klingon football somewhere else.
Lead Jam, Killer Sushi, and Boswin through the pack on the initial.
Like to give a shout out to Dreaded Jammer for saying, these are amazing juniors. Ria Copa says, don't tell me what to do, announcers.
Okay, fair enough. 4 points scored by Europe, 79-60.
You're not my real father.
You're sounding like Tool time.
Uh-oh. Okay, I'll stop. My bad.
You knew that would get me. 79-60. Again, 4 points scored. Europe wants to, of course, start to pull away if possible. They've held the lead for a minute.
So we got Munowich on the line against Giraffic Jam. Unless there's a quick switcheroo. No, Munowich versus Giraffic Jam.
And strictly defensive formation. You see it as each pack down one blocker.
Roller derby, one of the few sports where you play offense and defense at the same time. The others would be martial arts or maybe doubles tennis, doubles ping pong.
Right you are.
Lead Jam has gone to Munowich. There is a skater in the penalty box for Europe and a skater leaving the penalty box from Great Britain.
Oh, and through is Graphic Jam. However, Munowich scoring and calls it. Textbook Jam, 9 points, 2 scoring passes.
I think that's a soft G, a giraffic, like a giraffe.
Giraffe, okay. Not a giraffe?
Not a giraffe.
Okay, a giraffe. Yeah, that makes sense.
Giraffic Jam. A rather tall skater, so it's an appropriate name.
Right.
9 points for Europe brings them up to 88. No points for Great Britain keeps them at 60. Jammers are number 2708, the Naki Boy, and number 143, Marnie Muvova.
And more defensive action you see in the back, and the Naki Boy correcting and doing a good job correcting, but able to recover and earn lead Jam on the initial pass. Marnie now, there's an opening on the inside, and it's plugged up by the pivot.
Oh, Naki Boy, the points are calling.
3 more blockers up front. Excellent recycling there by Europe. And the Naki Boy scoring. And on the inside, did not remain.
Naki knocked to the inside.
Yeah, and you saw that self-correction on what would have been a sure track cut.
New jammer for Great Britain is Gemma English, number 10. Jam is called before Gemma can get the star over her pivot cover. But the star was passed to Gemma English, number 10. 96 points. Europe sitting on the precipice of the century mark. Great Britain stalled out at 60 and has been there since jam number 12. 5 jams in a row. Great Britain sitting on 60 points. Let's see if we can change that. I'm sure they want to.
8 points scored in the last jam, and yes, the trend is on Europe scoring here as Duracell.
Duracell going up against number 427. That's Boswin.
Oh, and just through, and almost literally through.
Like hiking through the pack to get lead jam.
Yeah, through high velocity there. Impressive.
Great Britain skater reporting to the penalty box. Low block called on Giraffic Jam. Europe leads. Europe has had lead the last 6 jams in a row. Wow. Thank you, Scott Chicken.
Yeah, 31 a moment ago, looking for a track cut. Monowich, however, again, the jammer was able to correct. And in close quarters, the referees have a great vantage point and can tell exactly what is a cut and what is not.
So Duracell has put Europe over the century mark on this set of whistles.
1 minute to go in the jam.
Illegal position at the very end, and it will be as the no, wait, 72 was not the jammer. 72 is Duracell. Oh, 72 is the jammer and is reporting to the penalty box as the jammer. So this will be a power jam.
This situation is exactly what Great Britain needs right now, and we will see if they can take advantage of it.
Yeah, down by 50, needs to double their score nearly to take the lead. And trying to take it. Nope. We got an official timeout. Don't go anywhere. Curious. I thought the jammers were always in play wherever they were. Interesting how you can get an illegal position as the jammer. Maybe as a leg block?
Was it this call, which used to be skating out of bounds?
Yes, now it's a leg block.
Or was he called for skating out of bounds? Yes, it was skating out of bounds. It is a rare occurrence, but if a skater is about to be blocked,
no, then that is the correct
and
call.
they skate out of bounds to avoid the block.
Under the new taxonomy, that is an illegal position call. So I have been educated. Thank you for educating me.
That hand signal for skating out of bounds is now then reappropriated to leg block. Now it makes more sense.
Insanity R wants to know why so many refs. Well, there are 4 on the inside. There's 1 controlling the front of the pack. There's 1 controlling the back of the pack. One of those is designated as the head referee, usually the one controlling the front of the pack, but it doesn't have to be. They can decide that. And then the 2 other on the inside are tracking the points of the jammers and any penalties that are committed on the jammers or any penalties that are committed by the jammers. Then you have 3 referees on the outside because it's a lot of work skating around the outside. It is a lot further. So often they will skate in shifts. They will skate from turn to turn. If the pack is slow, they can all, like you see them now, they can all be in frame. But when the action gets fast, you will see the referees drop into what they call a rotation.
Great Britain fans, this is a 1-minute power jam, as I do believe I saw a referee go over and signal a misconduct call. Perhaps the jammer not leaving the track on time or having a word with the referee about why.
Lady Macbeth has lead jam for Great Britain.
So that will be a 1-minute penalty.
And a 1-minute power jam, unless another penalty is called. Multiplayer block called on 162 for England. That is may cause mayhem.
Oh, and a shot to the jammer, but continuing to skate. Down in the stretch. But a blocker sent out for that. Star pass has been completed to the pivot, number 24 white, Lady Macbeth.
So Lady Macbeth to Lady Macbeth to Lady Macbeth.
I was waiting on that
all weekend long. Getting down low is the Nacky boy. Is Duracell.
Yes, Duracell completes the Duracell 5 points. Had previously completed the initial pass while we were checking out that awesome star pass.
Great Britain losing a skater to the penalty box. That was number 162, may cause mayhem.
I don't envy the refs either on all these calls.
Another Lady Macbeth now reporting to the penalty box, and now another England skater reporting to the penalty box, but being called back on. I'm not sure if the penalty has been waived off or if the referee realized that the box was full. My apologies, I've said England. It's Great Britain.
Settle down, Twitch. 13 points to 20, and net 7 for Europe. So seven points gained for Europe there in what was it could have been a devastating blow to Europe, having the jammer sit for a full minute. So good recovery there.
Yeah, ends up winning the jam by 7, 130-73. You actually have Radio Flyer 7388, who is apparently in the venue and just saw themselves for a second.
Thank you for watching on Twitch, even in the grandstand.
Lead jam has gone
Go see the
to
vendors.
Monowich. Monty move over, jamming for Great Britain.
Opening on the just blast past 162. However, may have stepped out of bounds, so self-correcting. Neither jammer having an easy time at it, so Jam Monowich calls it.
3 points for Europe, 1 point for Great Britain on that last set of whistles. 133-74, creeping up on a 2-1 margin.
When we start up again, there will be fewer than 2 minutes rather on the period clock. The jam can last a full 2 minutes, depending on what the lead jammer would like to do.
One rule change I would like to see is a mandatory official timeout at the first opportunity after 3 minutes, something akin to the 2-minute warning in American football.
Interesting. All right. Well, talk about that amongst yourselves. That's
or on Twitch TV.
Yeah.
Any rule changes you'd like to see?
Well, so far, pivot head to the penalty box and a Great Britain blocker ready to return momentarily.
Duracell has lead jam for Europe. Rochelle jamming for Great Britain. Europe's pivot now reporting to the penalty box as well. That's Nutter, number 11. 4 points for Europe makes that 137-74. 11 points shy of a 2-1 margin in favor of Europe.
Really starting to pull away in the last, 12 minutes or so by my call. 1 minute to go in the period. So this will likely be the final jam of the period, and then we'll play 30 minutes more, where we have seen some comebacks this weekend from similar deficits. So we'll see what happens with the coaching and with the rest afforded to the skaters momentarily.
We got Salty Siggy on the line against Boswin. Boswin not picking up lead jam, a no point, no penalty. So lead is available for Salty Siggy to claim. Forearm penalty called on Boswin. There's also a skater in the penalty box for Europe. So the pack is brimming with European blockers. There's actually only one Great Britain skater on the track now two.
And the turnstile continues for Great Britain in the penalty box as one skater sent out, one returns, one standing now.
Somebody on the Twitch chat said, I'm just now realizing that this is not being played on ice.
Nope, it is on sport court, and sport court mixed with polyurethane wheels on quad skates. Quite the challenge. That is the challenge of flat track roller derby, and much of the charm of same.
Yeah. Wheels are so good that they have them for different surfaces. Sometimes the sport is played on polished concrete. Sometimes it's played on hardwood. If it's flat and you can put duct tape in the shape of an oval, you can play roller derby.
And we're glad about that. 4 points scored for Europe, sets us at 141-74. Thank you once again for joining us all weekend long, and especially the last 2 days for this Junior Roller Derby World Cup. The finest skaters from all over the world in their respective regions right here in Feasterville, Pennsylvania. My name is Standby.
I'm Bobby Narco. Our producer is Scott Chicken.
Absolutely.
And you are watching twitch.tv. Come on back in about 15 minutes or so for some statistical analysis and the second half of the matchup between Europe and Great Britain.
Welcome back. Awesome game between Europe and Great Britain.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yes, the prize is 5th place. Bobby Narco, what do you have for the first half?
Well, I was looking at Scott Chicken's notes, and I have some unofficial lead jammer percentages and points for Europe. Number 72, that's Duracell, is 6 for 7 on the jammer line, leading all scorers with 87 points. Number 01 is 2 for 2, that's TNT, 2 for 2 on the jammer line with 5 points. Number 2708 is the Nacky Boy. Nacky Boy is 1 for 2 from the jammer line with 8 points. Number 6, that's Chloe. Is 0 for 1 on the jammer line, no points. Number 31 is 2 for 4 on the jammer line. That's Monowich with 15 points. Number 2012 is 1 for 2 with 4 points. That's Salty Siggy. And number 7, Killer Sushi, is 1 for 2 on the jammer line with roughly 21 points. These stats are unofficial. These are not the official game stats. These are what we've been cobbling together up here from the announcers table. But that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different jammers on the line for Great Britain, for Europe. Great Britain putting 6 different jammers out on the line. Number 8 is 0 for 2 with no points. That is Giraffic Jam. Number 427. These points are not correct. I did the math on them, and I'm missing a bunch of points. So I'm just going to do the percentages for Great Britain. Number 427 is 0 for 4. That's Boswin. Number 1606 is 1 for 5. That is Lady Macbeth. Number 143. That is Marnie Move Over, is 2 for 4 from the jammer line. Number 16 is Rochelle, also 2 for 4 from the jammer line. And the 6th jammer, T-Breaks, is 0 for 1 on the jammer line. It's a tie between who's got the most points between 1606, Lady Macbeth, and number 143, Marnie Move Over.
And we'll see what happens here again this second half, as the leads you see not at all insurmountable, and I predict 30 more minutes of exciting derby as we had before. The winner of this for bragging rights and pride to take home 5th place. The trophy, or the figurative trophy here, as 4 points scored previously in the last jam. High Velocity
and Duracell are your jammers here in the opening jam. Already a penalty on the pivot for Europe. Lead jammer goes to Duracell, just like in jam number 1.
Yes, much the same as, High Velocity throw on the initial pass. Duracell scoring, and given what we know about, continuing on, but blocked and calls it. However, Great Britain, watch that score.
Great Britain picking up 3.
Yep. 4-3. Jam is not over again until the 4th whistle blast, so a little surprised to see Europe go for it. However, at this point, Europe still net 1 in the pacing.
And there's that, I was going to comment on the ratio being goal. Now, that was upgraded to a 7 points total for Europe, so it's now 148 to 77.
Junior Roller Derby Association bringing you the Junior Roller Derby World Cup as TNT earns lead jam. This roller derby sport inclusive. It's for everyone, and all these teams open and through on the inside, calling off the jam.
Boswin was the jammer for Great Britain, but did not put any points on the board. 4 points put on the board for Europe, so now I can comment on the margin because it's almost a true 2-1 margin. I think it's going to be the closest we'll get for a while. 152 to 77.
Again, Team Europe in the yellow and Great Britain in the mostly white.
Duracell on the line against Lady Macbeth.
And we have an Australian announcer on the house mic with some of the regional terminology.
Yeah, that's Allie Ironstein, who is just killing it this weekend on the announcing calls. Did a broadcast with her yesterday. Lead jam has gone to Duracell.
And a power jam at that.
How about that?
And up and over.
Leg block? Oh, no, it's just a little dance by Scott Chicken. No, it is a leg block.
Either a leg block or one of those mysterious skating out of bounds, which happens every now and then.
So the penalty for skating out of bounds has now been co-opted as the penalty signal for a leg block, and skating out of bounds has been reclassified as illegal position because you're gaining an advantage by changing your position illegally.
Duracell maintains control of this jam, and up front the pivot and chasing the jammer as much as possible, but he can't stray too far up from the pack. Duracell weaves past 24 and through. Oh!
Nice hit by Giraffic Jam. Taking Duracell to the infield. Referee checking to make sure Duracell's okay. Duracell's like, I'm fine. I got this. I'm calling it off.
I thought he looked rattled, but no, that was just saying yes, yes, yes. Don't call it.
Don't call it. I'll call it.
I'll do it myself because otherwise.
Because he'll have to sit out for 3 jams. If a jam is called off for an injured skater, that skater must sit out the next 3 jams. That's a safety issue and an important one. Number 01 is TNT for Team Europe coming up on the jammer line. And number 143, Marnie Muhova. Lots of love to our camera people and our behind the staff production team. We've got Speed Bump running things here behind the scenes, and Scott Chicken stacking trats for us.
Well, I did track once, but then they had to pull it up and redo it, so I let somebody else do it now. 0-1 is through for 5 points.
And a multiplayer block sends a European blocker to the penalty box.
On the inside, well, actually went for the same opening, did Marnie, but through is TNT.
Radio Flyer 73-88 has a question about, there's some discussion about how old do you have to be a junior? Can you still be 18 and play? If you've turned 18 and won't turn 19 before August 31st when the season begins, then you are eligible to participate in Junior Roller Derby Association matches.
Important classification, much the same as public school in the U.S., at least in the state of Florida, from my experience. If you miss that cutoff date, you got to wait another year.
14 points picked up by Europe extends the lead to a 107-point lead, the largest of the game, 184-77 in favor of Europe. Jammers are number 72, and that is Duracell, and number 342, High Velocity.
14 unanswered points, and that the key here as Duracell looking to continue to build points to an insurmountable lead as the clock ticks away, and excellent defense by 08 until that forearm was called, and that is on the pivot Giraffic Jam.
Lead jam to Duracell. Oh, nice move on the outside by Duracell.
Avoided that crash, and that was all attempted blocking there as High Velocity forced to recycle back around the referees and officials, as if you run into a referee or an official, you got a misconduct call on your hands. It has happened.
Great Britain still looking for their first lead jammer call this half.
(11-0), waiting on the final tally. 11-0.
Stand by. If you could hand me the stat sheet for Team Europe, I'd like to go through and see if we have any people that are aging out, since we had the question about age. I do have some skaters that are aging out from Great Britain, skating their very last game ever as junior roller derby skaters. We have Roller Girl, Elle Wolf, Wizzy, SMOL, and Skelebel from Great Britain skating their very last games ever as junior roller derby skaters. Bittersweet moment for them. And we'll get you Team Europe's when we get a chance. Lead jam has gone to number 427, Boswin. Salty Siggy is the jammer for Europe.
And they
star pass and a penalty. So in the penalty box as the jammer is the new jammer. I didn't catch the number. Did you? Yeah, that's 7, Killer Sushi. Killer Sushi picked up the star several times yesterday. One of the favorite European options for passing the star. That's 5-point pass for Boswin.
An important 5 points. 22.5 minutes in the game.
And Great Britain's first lead of the half. And is that their first double-digit score of the half? It is. First double-digit score of the half for Great Britain. Killer Sushi now out of the penalty box with a little apex leap.
And through Boswin. 15 points total. And those 15 points yet unmatched. Jammer race, and wise thing here in this situation with Great Britain lead jam is to call it.
You can kind of sense when Killer Sushi is closing in on you, so good idea to call off the jam. Great Britain just 8 points shy of the century mark, and that is Great Britain's biggest jam of the game, 15 points, representing 1/6 of Great Britain's score.
Killer Sushi is the oldest member of Team Europe and has just turned 18. Also, Kiara is aging out, and Fabulous.
Thank you.
Lead Jam TNT.
Exploding through. No, Rochelle. Well, you're right. TNT lead jam. Scoreboard showed it wrong briefly. Rochelle jamming for Great Britain. I should learn to trust Tommy.
Right, it is a power jam.
Especially because Rochelle's in the penalty box, yeah.
Yes. But a forearm called on TN. No,
yes.
No, it isn't. There's a forearm called on a blocker.
The one whose uniform number ends in 62, that's got to be May Cause Mayhem.
This the referee in close proximity to the jammer was pointing that out. So, no, jammers are both back into play now.
And hits it, quits it. Any more points on that pass? Yes, 4 more points for a total of 14. Europe 209, Great Britain 92.
More unanswered points.
Though Great Britain put in 15 the last jam, so European gets 14 of them back. Jammers are going to be number 31 on the yellow team, Munowich, and number 143, Marnie move over, a stoppage of play, an official timeout. Clarifying a penalty maybe.
20:02 to go in the game, 2/3 of the way through. And and we have dueling cheers and several members of the audience behind the opposite announcers table.
Yeah, we got George Carnage and Allie Ironstein down there pumping the crowd, getting the levels high. Not that they need to. This crowd is full of energy. They've traveled a long way, and they are thrilled to be seeing some amazing Junior Roller Derby World Cup action.
This the 5th place game. The winner will earn 5th place and end in 5th place. The 3rd place game will be between
Canada and Australia.
That's right. That will follow this one. And the championship game, USA West versus USA East.
That coming up in 2 games. Now out on the jammer line we have Munowich
with lead.
And number 143 on the white team is Marnie Muvova.
However,
oh, no illegal contact. No, a cut track call on number 143, Marnie Muvova. So a power jam for Munowich, who already has lead jam.
This is, as my old colleague Danger Man used to say, exactly what Great Britain does not need right now. As 30 seconds again to score as much as they can unopposed. And also a lead jam on top of that.
And a failure to reform on top of that. Great Britain skater heading to the penalty box for failing to reform.
Yikes.
Another 5-point pass for Munowich.
1 blocker each in the box.
Marnie Muvova going to be entering camera shortly out of the penalty box. There she is. So the jam is called.
And worth mentioning, we can talk about positioning because the skaters cannot hear us. The announcers on the track talking to the fans cannot talk positioning. They can only mention what has happened. They cannot speculate, and they cannot give away positioning. This, of course, a game of positioning.
Yeah, they don't want us what they call coaching from the mic.
Right, but and it's a challenge sometimes, but it's it's something unique to roller derby. I think it's unique to roller derby, the constant live announcing, but yes, explanations to all the fans as we're doing right here of what is going on.
Low block on Giraffic Jam. Lead jam goes to Killer Sushi. Great Britain's jammer's number 342, High Velocity.
One block reach standing in the box.
I was on the house call for the last game when Canada went up against USA East, and there was some interesting strategy, and it was all I could do to be like, why are they doing that over the mic?
The more we watch and the more we see from our vantage points, and grinding defense there by the pivot, and now joined by number 70 there, Ebom.
Team Europe losing another skater to the penalty box.
And that is the aforementioned Ebom. Oh, and Jammer dropped.
Multiplayer on the Great Britain pivot. It's a 5-point pass, the third for Killer Sushi.
Almost had it, and the frustration clear to our vantage point on the face of High Velocity, but continues on and resets and through the pack on the initial pass.
Another Great Britain skater reporting to the penalty box. Giraffic Jam standing behind the penalty box. You can't see that on screen, but that is generally an indication of a foul out.
Jam is over, and Ghost Blocker on the opposing jammer. Yes, we'll have an official timeout, likely to swap out skaters, escort the...
Well, we don't need an official timeout. We have a team timeout from Great Britain.
Okay.
They're second. You get 3 timeouts for the whole game. You get 1 official review per half. However, if you win your official review, you retain it. If you win both official reviews, that is unofficially called a muffin. And if you win all 4 of your official reviews, then that is the full muffin. Named for Coach Muffin out of Ohio.
Thank you for explaining that, because I've never heard that one before.
The first person to take credit for doing it all. And that is, in fact, Giraffic Jam being escorted off the track by a designated adult.
Correct. They have to leave the immediate skating area so that they do not have any impact on the game, coaching or what have you. However,
you can't just take off your jersey and then go into turn number 3 and start coaching your skaters. The designated adult going to stay with you and make sure you can watch, but you can't participate.
Right, and also keeping everyone safe here. We're not going to kick you out of the rink, literally or figuratively.
Out in the cold, out in the rain. Here in Feasterville, out in the rain.
Yeah. Feasterville, Pennsylvania, suburban Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA.
Right outside of Philadelphia. Home of the East Coast Derby Extravaganza. Out on the line, we have Duracell versus Boswin, and Duracell picks up lead jam right away.
That's right. Some of you regular International Derby fans, no doubt, are familiar with this awesome facility, as 2 great events and an apex jump. Incredible derby and a jammer race for Duracell and Boswin. They will be in your screens momentarily. No contact between them on that turn.
Duracell looking for points. Both jammers now scoring points. Boswin first through the pack. Duracell next through the pack.
4 points each.
Swapping 4s.
Europe is ahead 1 lap.
Right. So, and wins that jam with a 5-point pass before they swapped 4, so 9 points for Europe, 24-7. Europe ahead. Great Britain 4 points away from the century mark, sitting on 96 points. We are 3/4 of the way done with this game.
I don't know exactly how many points Great Britain has scored in this period, but clearly being outpaced by Europe.
Well, Scott Chicken does. It is 21. It is 19.
Whoa. Okay.
22. It's 22.
Either way, something happening during halftime with Europe's coaching, probably sharing notes. I have never coached. I just watched it announced, but
Little Demon jamming for Europe. First time on the jammer line. Number 1606, Lady Macbeth jamming for Great Britain.
And through Great Britain, much needed points and needed for morale, if nothing else. 5 points scored. Oh, and through 2 blockers recycle, but able to shake off one and the other. Wow. 10 points scored.
Little Demon trapped to the back of the pack, now completing the initial pass.
And set upon by 2 blockers, and now joined by a third, and another one up, and drawback by the pivot, calling off the jam in time.
Little Demon
maybe?
Did not get those hips around just in the nick of too late, so no points picked up by Europe. A 13-0 jam for Great Britain. Not very often, only the fourth time this jam this half that Europe has been held scoreless. And Great Britain up over that century mark.
2:47-109, 14 minutes to go here in the 5th place game at the Junior Roller Derby World Cup.
On twitch.tv.
Thank you for joining us wherever you are. Unless you're driving, in which case, listen. Lead jam, Chloe.
Forearm penalty on whoever's leaving. That is a European skater. Didn't catch the number.
That is, I believe, number 70, E-Bomb.
But more importantly, power jam, because we have a penalty on the Europe jammer.
Right you are. More points perhaps being put up in the last 2 jams pacing-wise than any other time this period. And 1 blocker up front made a play, but through is Marnie Muova. 5-point pass.
All the points.
Europe down 1 blocker, and that blocker is set to return. Spins, not able to stay in bounds on that one, as good swarming defense.
Jammer back in play as well. Direction of play penalty.
Ooh.
The Europe blocker that came off, came back in, went back off almost immediately on a direction of play.
And that swarming defense representative of, there is a team in Lake City, Florida called the Honeys, as in honeybees, and definitely that same style of swarming defense and yellow uniforms as well. 10 points scored plus. Okay, that is the 10 points. Yes,
10 points plus 0.
So good, and that speaks to the defense of Europe there to hold the jammer to just 10 points on that situation.
I was about to say we have a stoppage of play, but I was confusing the coaching from the European coach to the skater in the box with a request for a timeout. So.
Oh, I was distracted by the music. Canada is below us doing their pregame ritual.
Salty Siggy on the line for Europe. High Velocity on the line for Great Britain. Salty Siggy picks up lead jam heading into the backstretch.
Right. Official reviews do not carry over into the next period. Use it or lose it. Thank you for that question, or that statement, or clarification, rather.
Official reviews can be used simply as a timeout, if you wish.
It used to be that you, by rule, had to give the referees something to review. And that turned into Batman versus Superman, where we going to eat after the game. But now
you can always challenge the points. I challenge the points.
Yes, and you do not have to do that anymore.
Direction of play on the Great Britain pivot. So a little blocker switch out of the penalty box. 1 from each team. Now Europe getting another skater sent to the penalty box.
Thought the inside was open from my vantage point. Surely it was not.
We are much further away, looking through a chain and a screen. Although we can watch the action on the screen in front of us.
And remember, there are no corners in roller derby. I've been told that.
No corners, no ball. Salty Siggy through.
And making a adjustment on gear on the way through.
5-point pass. Grand slam, all the points you can get.
The prize of 5th place on the line. 10.5 minutes from now, attempting to call off a jam, and there we go.
A little shoulder check right at the end. You're calling off the jam with Salty Siggy, but you got to keep skating until tweet.
Right.
Now, that gets repeated several times. It's the fourth tweet of the first cluster, but it's usually tweet, 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 tweet. It's the fourth whistle of the first cluster.
Everyone parroting those whistles to make sure they are heard and understood. 6 points scored. Stoppage
of play here.
Well, are we or are we not? Great Britain coach on the line with a word and an official timeout called.
All right. Jammers look like they will be number 31, Monowich, and number 427, Boswin. 9 minutes left to play in the game, in the match, in the bout. Synonyms, choose whichever one you prefer.
We started with bout, and now we've shifted to game.
Yeah, a nod to the pugilism kind of element of the sport, the edginess. But now we want to get down to, it's not about fighting, it's about skating. Really haven't seen much fighting in roller derby since, the late, about 2006.
Yeah, that's not in our rule book.
You get expelled from the game if you engage in fighting, and nobody wants that, so they're keeping it legal.
Roller derby for a number of decades, a popular form of sports entertainment. It is still a sport, and it is still entertaining. However, nothing is predetermined.
Yeah, nobody's throwing any chairs anymore. Number 1 point for Europe brings them up to 254. No points for Great Britain keeps them at 119. Out on the jammer line now, number 7 is Killer Sushi, and number 1606 is Lady Macbeth. Killer Sushi, one of the skaters on Team Europe, who is aging out.
Oh, jammers on lockdown here. This a blockers jam.
Multiplayer block on the England skater, Great Britain skater that's leaving.
Great Britain blocked out and apparently did legally pass that blocker as in close quarters, those blockers looking for a track cut. That's why they move backwards.
Squire 166 wants to know, what is the goal of this sport? And the answer is to get more points than your opponent.
1 point for each opposing skater you pass, and there's a pass.
Lap. Each opposing skater, you get a lap. Lap is important because the first pass is only to determine status. We have a new jammer on the yellow team.
Okay.
Picking up the star is number 2708, the Naki Boy.
And WFTDA bots with the link to the rules there to read up on roller derby and its modern form, flat track roller derby, brought to you by the Women's Flat Track Derby Association. Thank you for running the facilities here to put on this great event and bring it to you for free right here on Twitch.
Duracell now on the line up against Marty Moveover. Going into 7 minutes left to play in this matchup. 2-5-4, 1-2-3, a straight on the jammer line, and more than a 2-1 margin in favor of Europe.
Duracell is the lead jammer, but both jammers are free.
Got a direction of play?
No, Duracell, whoa, calls it, and was that in time? Not sure. Points on the board for everybody, I think, unless my contacts are failing me. Nope, that was a 4-0 jam, 4-0 jam. Oh, man, that was awfully close. We talked about that fourth whistle blast. That's why I always look.
258 to 123 in favor of Europe.
We know they're here.
I don't know if you can hear George Carnage over our mics, but he is pumping the crowd, getting them excited about these last 6 minutes of roller derby. Our jammers are TNT for Europe, called on a cut track, so a power jam for number 16, Rochelle, for Great Britain. Let's see if Rochelle can capitalize.
And TNT, with so much speed built up, just went ahead and skated the long way to the penalty box instead of stopping and turning around and going back the short way.
Yeah, you won't get in trouble as long as you leave the track immediately. You can take whichever route to the penalty box you want. You can go clockwise or counterclockwise. as long as you leave the track immediately, you will see skaters called.
And that's a cut.
You'll see skaters get a misconduct if they don't leave the track after being issued a penalty in a timely fashion.
So jammers will switch places, and the second one will serve the same amount of time as the first. Something else that we don't point out too often, but to first-time fans, there is a rope, a small rope, inside those lines you see. The inside and outside boundary, that's the way the skaters know that the line is there. They can roll over the line and be able to tell without looking down.
Similar to a warning track in the American game of baseball.
And through on the initial pass is Rachel.
Forearm penalty called on TNT.
Oh, 2 penalties and a single jam. And hobbling a bit, headed to the penalty box were of note.
Direction of play called. Don't see anybody reporting on the direction of play. There it is. Yellow 42 is Fabulous, the captain.
Great Britain putting points on the board. 5, in fact. 4. 5, that should be 5. There we go. 5 points because, of course, the jammer was scored upon in the penalty box, and a power start forthcoming.
A 130-point lead for Europe. Less than 4 minutes when we get underway with the next set of whistles. Number 427 for the white team is Boswin. Number 01 for the yellow team is TNT. Here we go.
And a fun fact, as relayed in the chat, the 2 teams that played the junior demo game at the Roller Derby World Cup in Manchester were made up mostly of the skaters that are on the track now, but in different compositions.
If you saw the broadcast of that team of that game, you heard my voice. I was there in Manchester, England, calling between the Dolphins and the Kingfishers.
All right, and you're headed back to Birmingham in a few weeks, too.
No, A Coruña.
Oh, okay, one of those, yes. All right.
I did the Men's World Cup in Barcelona back in April. Meanwhile, back on the track, lead jam has gone to Boswin. TNT on the initial, completes the initial pass. No scoring either jammer, nothing.
Roller Derby is worldwide, and when we cannot go to Roller Derby, we bring the Roller Derby to you. The WFTDA, the JRDA, and Blaze Streaming Media right here on Twitch, live from the Sportsplex in Feasterville, Pennsylvania. This, the 5th place game in the Junior Roller Derby World Cup between Europe and Great Britain, where the prize, yes, is 5th place in this World Cup.
So, Fish is glad that the pivot line is making a comeback, and somebody wants to know the outcome of game number 4. Assuming they meant the 4th game today, in that game, the USA East beat Canada.
So we will have USA East versus USA West in the championship game, and Australia and Canada in between there for 3rd place.
Salty Siggy was the jammer. Now the jammer is Munowich, but the lead jammer for Great Britain is Lady Macbeth, picking up 4 points and calling off the jam. Oh, picking up no points and calling off the jam.
Preventing the opposing jammer from scoring.
I'm not going to doubt Scott Chicken. Those 4 points might show up on the scoreboard later.
Okay. Or we'll have an official timeout till they do. And we see the officials table calling that official timeout. We want to make sure everything is correct on this before the next jam begins. 1:43 unofficially, and the clock may be adjusted also. Official time is kept in the infield and then relayed back to the scoreboard operator.
So yeah, the scorekeeper and the jam ref from the white team conferring, and 4 points are put on the board. Never doubt Scott Chicken.
Well, if they're scored, they're scored. Now, if they're awarded an error, they cannot be taken away, but they have been scored.
They can before the start of the next jam. Once the next jam starts, you're stuck with them.
Yep, it is what it is.
Which is probably why they called an official timeout right there. Less than 2 minutes left to play in the game, 258 to 132. Marnie move over, jamming for Great Britain, not picking up lead, 2-7-1-2, 2-7-1-1. Una Galaxy, first jam of the game for Una Galaxy.
And lead jam
143,
Oh,
Marty.
crash.
No, Una Galaxy has lead jam. And the Europe bench is chanting, "Let's go, Una, let's go." All 5 points. Una 1 for 1 on the jammer line. Big hit at the top of the pack by the yellow pivot. Going to get called for a high block.
Everyone is up.
That's good to see.
Jam continues, 1:05 to go, 45 in the game. This jam can last a full 2 minutes. That is totally up to Una Galaxy.
If the game clock runs out while the jam is in progress, the jam will run to its natural conclusion, much like football, American football.
Watch it now.
Or European football. There's added time, so both versions of football you can play after the clock has expired. We've got a misconduct coming in as well for the penalty box. Whoever's in there going to sit for an additional 30 seconds.
And they did. Penalty box is, but now the jammer.
White jammer. This will be a full 2-minute jam, so this jam will go until the jam clock says 017. Or until it says 000. It said 017. 10 more seconds left to play is what I'm trying to say.
Galaxy, last chance to put a few more points on the board.
Nice.
And
Pivot on pivot check at the very end there. Scott Chicken says, don't necessarily trust the score showing on the board. We'll get a little bit of an update on that. I don't think it'll change the outcome of the game, and it doesn't really matter for seeding because this is a place match. Showing right now 265 to 1, and there was a change. 263 to 132 is our unofficial final.
5-0 in favor of Europe in that final jam. Congratulations, Team Europe, 5th place at the Junior Roller Derby World Cup, and congratulations, an awesome showing all this time for Great Britain, also 6th place in the World Cup.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
We can congratulate him again.
Coming up next, we have the bronze medal match. That is going to be taking place between Canada and Australia. So don't go very far. That's going to come up very shortly. Teams are lining up for the victory lap by Europe, followed by a consolation lap for Great Britain. Our most excellent producer has been Scott Chicken. I'm Bobby Narco.
And I'm Standby.
Peace